We live, baby. What's up, y'all? All right, so this week was cool. Actually, the past couple weeks. Let's talk about the past couple weeks. I think it's been a little gap since I've done one of these. So I was in Atlanta last time I did one of these, and since then, I don't know, man. I feel like things have been pretty steady for the most part. You know, I've been wrapping up. I'm working on another EP. It's like a funk project. And I don't know at what point you guys will watch this, but I have like a 6-track EP that I'm working on. It's like kind of 70s funk inspired. And I just wrapped up a mix session for that. And we still got like maybe 2 more tracks to just really put some finishing touches on. I'll let you hear one track real quick. Let me turn my speakers on. King in his place, he still got some. It's exclusive, y'all. Baby girl got some. She the one keep the thing jumping. You know what it is, you know what it is. If you feel it, sick, she the medicine. She don't care what you say. Better get it out the way. She ain't gonna waste no time. This one. All right, so I can't let y'all hear too much. I don't want to spoil it for y'all, but we're finishing that one up. I'm really excited about that. One thing that's been cool, I've been working on what they call like work tapes for a whole nother project. Actually, the EP that I'm creating for this course, I created a bunch of work tapes. And with those it's like, I'll play you some actually. I'll play this. It's like a bunch of early, really rough drafts of songs that give inspiration to what a fully produced song could end up being like. And so I'll just come up with some random ideas. I'll record in my mic, like me humming a melody as if it were like a guitar or a bass line. And I'll like beatbox myself doing drum loops, and I'll write over top of that as well. And what it does, it kind of gives you a good, like the producer, whoever's working on, whoever I choose to work with, it gives them an idea of, where the production could go and kind of get some of the ideas that I have out of my head. And it's been cool. Like I'll play you one. This is one that's a little bit more.
Tear it up, tear it up. Yeah, we about to tear it up. Yeah, we about to tear it up. Yeah, we about to tear it up. I promise nothing can hold me back. We got the fire, so you not a match. If you want to doubt us, we can go ahead and run it back.
You know what I'm saying? And it can turn into like, this is the inspiration behind it. I got a whole like Spotify playlist that sounds kind of like that. This is one of the tracks. Watch me, good. So like if I were to do a work tape for that one, I would come in here in the booth way before it gets to that part or this stage, and I would go lay that down, and then I'll probably do the drums like boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? So like it's the building blocks for what could be, a really dope, fully produced track. So I got like 4 or 5 of those ideas. And actually I've been sharing them with some of the people in my group, my accountability group for the 6-figure songwriting course. And one of the guys in there is a producer, and he was actually really inspired by it and wants to work with me to try to flesh out one of those tracks, and which I wasn't expecting because I'm doing this for a different producer, but he got inspired. He's like, hey man, I'd love to try something out. So I thought it'd be a cool opportunity. And I've been learning, like, just the mindset going into sync, you know what I mean? Like, collaborations are really everything. So sometimes I might be a little apprehensive about like just sharing all of my ideas too early, or bringing in people who I don't really know, or don't have like a good chemistry, or don't know what the chemistry's like. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just have to submit yourself and commit yourself to doing things that you may not necessarily do. Because that's, for me, I know I'm very self-contained. Like, I can, for the most part, like, write, record, mix. If I wanted to, I could probably produce my own track. I haven't in a while, but I used to produce. I could do all the artwork and branding and, develop a campaign for it. But, over the years, it's always been something I've had to work at, like how to bring more people in, how to not isolate myself. And I've been learning that, like, more so than ever with sync, because, the best songs, and not even with sync, but just music in general, the best songs are those that have the right people in the room, and people who can kind of better you and, attribute some new ideas. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that turns into. He sent me an early draft, and it was good. And I have some notes back for him, and we're just going to kind of play around and see where it goes. Yeah, man, I just dropped my first single since I've been indie, officially not with RMG, but it's funny because the first single I dropped as an indie is actually a co-venture with me and RMG, because we did a remix to my song Jeans. And it was something that I wasn't originally planning. There's a good producer buddy of mine. He's down in the Netherlands. His name is Gideon. And he just reached out to me, and we had never met before, but he just loved the song and wanted to do a new version of it. And if you haven't heard it, it sounds like this. Trust God, keep on real. Walking with the hey, what you mean? Say, hey, what you mean? Say, hey, this was in my shoes. Yeah, so that joint, you go check it out. It's everywhere, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so he reached out to me, loved it, wanted to do a new version of it, and I was like, bet, let's do it. But when you're doing remixes, you as an independent artist, I'm trying to remix even my own songs, because that song was a song I released during my time with the label. They still own the master rights to the song. And so the way song ownership works, there's two sides of ownership. So, a single song that you create, is one side is the master recording. The other side is the composition, songs, lyrics, melodies. And so you can have different people representing different sides of ownership on one song. And so on the master side, that's usually the actual sound recording. So if I go in and record, a song and lay it down and basically, like, I want to say press it up, because it's kind of where the term comes from. If you think like CDs, like a sound recording, like that is usually like considered a master, but nowadays when it's more digital, but it's the vocal that gets recorded and also the instrumentation that gets recorded. That sound recording is one set of rights, but the actual lyrics, the melodies, and the composition are the other side of ownership. So me, even though I can be I wrote, the song, but I also recorded and sang. My vocal was on, the master side, but I can have ownership on this composition side as a writer, but have somebody else record the lyrics that I write and sing and perform those lyrics. So I can have different stakes in it, just depending on contribution. It kind of depends. So, but anyway, all that to say, I have part ownership on the composition and publishing side of a record. RMG fully owns the master side. So all that means is that I still have to get clearance and permission to kind of do a remix. And so we just talked through it, and it was better. It was cleaner for us to release it as a joint venture underneath, seemingly, and distribute it through the label with some different rights and stuff like that. But it was cool. So it just kind of worked out like that, which I'm real thankful that I still have a good relationship with my label enough to be able to do something like that. But yeah, so the next few releases though will probably be fully under my own ownership. So I'm excited about those. But it's interesting, and I'll just say this too. I feel like it's about to get a little long, but I feel like just sharing enough to say, like, there's different deal types, and which I wasn't aware of early on. Like early on in my career, just different ways that you can approach song ownership and releasing and partnerships and all that other kind of stuff. I see you, JJ. I appreciate you, man. Different partnership types where, you can self-publish, you can, release through another entity. It all depends on kind of what you're trying to do with your music at the end of the day. Like for me, I really desire to have more control and ownership over my music, just to give myself and even the music supervisors and people that I'm pitching to the peace of mind to know that they don't have to go through like a bunch of different hands and clear it through a bunch of different people. They can, what they call a one-stop clearance. I can give them the peace of mind to say, you can come to me and get everything cleared and keep the train moving, versus other deal types where if it's too many people that they have to kind of go through to make a deal happen, sometimes it can discourage that deal from happening. So I just wanted to minimize that. But, like before this, this particular remix, it just showed us over the cool opportunity to give, the producer some exposure, for me to give my fans some more content. And also we can still do, sync deals as, underneath the label. So, it just depends, on what you're looking to do. But anyway, I'm trying to see where I was going with that. But yeah, collaboration as far as a mindset is something that collaboration, and also, just being open and clear, like what you're trying to do with your music, to understand the type of deal types that you can structure when it comes to releasing music. So anyway, this release too has been getting me some attention. I got a couple, course mates and even alumni from previous courses who, been really impressed by some of the music that I'm doing. So it's opening up some other cool doors. I might be able to do some co-writing with some people who are, have some other inroads that I don't have myself. So it should be fun. But yeah, this has been cool. This has been a dope season. Like I really like where I'm at and kind of just what and how music. I got a ton of music I'm sitting on too, y'all, like, and so many other ideas for projects. But yeah, let me know if you guys, want to know anything else. But yeah, that's how the last couple of weeks has been. It's been pretty cool. I'm already at 14 minutes, so I'm gonna stop it here. But yeah, until next time, you guys, I appreciate y'all, everybody who's watching and rocking. If you got any questions, just hit me up. If you got questions about sync, you can shoot me an email, justderaj@gmail.com. Yeah, and I'll hit you up and try to or just DM me on Instagram. And yeah, so all right, y'all, peace.